Hello guys, I have decided to tell you about a book which name is by Elliot. The book is by Lee Hall and I think it's a very interesting book that I would like to make a little book review. The reason why I chose this book in particular is because I think it addresses some very important topics about gender stereotypes and the social inequality that was in Britain at the time, and it also tells about these different type of classes in the society at the time. So the story in Elliot is taking place in northern England in the 80s. It is about a boy who has a dead mother, and on top of this he is living in a very poor family. And because they were in this poor family, it was quite hard for them, because back in North England in the 80s there was this big segregation between the high class and the middle to lower class. This meant that the middle to lower class didn't have any money at all, almost, and the high class, the wealthy people, they did have a lot. But this led to the lower class and middle class to struggle a lot. The book then illustrates this with his brother and his father, which are working in the mines at the time, the coal mines. At the time of the book, they are on this huge national strike in the coal mines because they doesn't get paid that much, and they are having a very poor working conditions, which is also tough for Billy, which is the main actor, and this leads to him not having a lot of money, and on top of this he is getting forced to box by his father. But in one of the days he has went to boxing, he then sees the girls playing dancing ballet. He finds that pretty interesting and looks at them for some time. Then he decides to join them and tries to do some of the things they're doing, which he is naturally good at, and this leads him to get interested in the sport and decides to improve his skills at this. So each time he is supposed to go to boxing, he then goes to dance with the girls, and this goes on for a while and he gets pretty good. But his parents, or his dad, finds out and gets very mad at Billy. This leads to his dad to tell him to stop and try to stop this activity he was doing. But he then realizes, with the help of Billy's teacher, that he is actually pretty talented at what he's doing, and that is something he didn't think his son could do, because he didn't think he had any talent. And this motivated him to go out and try to finance this trip to the academy in London, where he wanted to go to audition. This could help him get out of this social status, social class he's living in, the poor. So his dad decides to help him finance this by selling his dead wife's wedding ring, and he also gets a lot of the members in the town to help him finance this, and they kind of rally around this activity of him getting to this school. And they then get to the school where he gets in the audition, and it all ends with his family, his dad and his brother, failing the strike, and but he does come into the school, and he does advance in ballet, and because of this you see a fast forward to where Billy is dancing in front of a lot of people, where he's doing some presentation of ballet, and actually he just succeeds. So overall it ends good, with Billy at least, which is the protagonist, and I think there is a lot of messages about social class and just living in England at this time, which this divides in people. Because this movie and the book is addressing these topics about gender roles and social statuses and stuff in England in the 80s, I think it's a very interesting book that can get you thinking about a lot of dilemmas. Therefore, I recommend the book to all of you guys, because I think it's a very interesting read, and it's definitely worth your time to read into this. The main differences between the book and the movie is that in the book you get more of a deep dive into the thoughts the main characters in the book are having, and this is done in the way that you can see Billy in some of the chapters, his point of view, then you can see his best friend's point of view in some other chapters, and then Billy's dad's point of view in the rest of the chapters. This is a very interesting way, I think, to show the story, because you get insight in all of the thoughts they're having as they are experiencing these situations, and you get to see some of the situations from multiple point of views, which is pretty interesting. Therefore, I especially recommend the book, because I think it has this extra aspect to it, and the movie is also quite good, but it mainly just follows Billy, and you can't tell what they are thinking all of the time. But it's pretty interesting, and I would definitely recommend both of them. So in conclusion, I think it's a good movie that addresses some of the most important dilemmas and situations that the people of England, or the lower class of England, were having in the 80s, and therefore I hope you would like to read this book or see the movie, and then I would like to hear what you think in the next time we see each other. Yeah, I hope you have a nice day, and see you soon.